Ngangkaris are our traditional healers. They are very special individuals who have been given an incredible gift, and this gift has been passed down from generation to generation, this gift of learning.
I live in a town where we've got a population like most of the Northern Territory of about 30% Aboriginal people, but they come from all over the country and often very young and often really lost. And being able to go and get a Ngangkari treatment is grounding for them, strengthens them in a physical, mental, psychological, emotional way that's very hard to find anything else that does it so well.
The Ngangkari have taught me, and through my relationship with them, to always to delve deeper into the emotional and spiritual side of things with the patient, and I've found patients to be very receptive, and I've picked up a lot of things that have happened in patients' past that I may not have found or discovered if I hadn't have had that training and awareness given to me by the Ngangkari.
You know, before I went away to play hockey for Australia, I'd go bush, I'd find someone I'd say, you know, smoke me, you know, cleanse those awful spirits that you collect when you're around such toxic, negative people, and you wanted to be cleansed of that. And so that was important to me. And it's not a mental thing. Like, our people have survived for 40,000 years, and you don't do that if you don't have a sense of well-being. And
Ngangkari are vitally important to what we do. All doctors need to be aware of Ngangkari and what they do.
I think the most important thing for non-Indigenous doctors to come to terms with is that Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people have a very different understanding of health and healing, and whilst a lot of the knowledge and skill that exists within Western biomedical medicine is very useful for our people and can be used in such a way to improve health and well-being, it will never be complete because of those differences in concepts of health and healing. And so what the Ngangkari can bring to any kind of healthcare interaction at the individual as well as at the population level is a more complete approach to that different level of health and healing. And so a better understanding of spiritual elements of health, of cultural elements of health, and really appreciating what that means for a collective, not just an individual, and what that means in a community sense.
I think a lot of doctors are a bit scared about Ngangkaris, thinking that they'll take them away from what we are wanting them to do. They'll tell them to stop taking their medication, don't go and see the doctor, but it's the absolute opposite. Ngangkaris want to work together with doctors. They want to work together with us so that we can have that two-pronged approach, so that spirit is looked after as well as the physical. There was a woman who had a mental health issue, and she was very scared because she was at home and she could hear voices. She requested that a Ngangkari come through and smoke her house. And the Ngangkari went to her house and sat her down and said, no, this isn't a spiritual issue. You need to go and see your doctor about this. This is a mental health issue. So they do recognise that, and they do point them in the right direction.
The difficulty that modern medicine has with engaging Ngangkari and traditional healers is that the profession forgets that it has it themselves. It's not a new concept, it's an old concept that healers have for a long time had a dual role that's both physical and spiritual. If you go back in Western culture, a lot of the priests and the monks were also practitioners of medicine one way or another, and that these things were intertwined.
You've either got to be able to be interested in that reality and unafraid of learning about it, or be able to forget about that reality and just respect it, because it's part of Indigenous people's reality that we have spirit, and that spirit is having an experience in physical. And that's an integral part of our understanding of our health and of the Earth's health.